Welcome to Petaplet. In this video, you will learn about the below concepts in Python. What are the variables and the use of the variables? How to create a variable and how to assign a value for the variable. What are the rules we need to follow while deciding a name for a variable? Let's understand the use of the variables and the need of the variables. Variables is a concept in programming languages used for storing the values in the memory through the program. Once the values are stored in the memory using variables, the program can get the values of the variables any number of times based on the requirement of the values in the logic. The value of the variable can be changed to any value at any time, anywhere in the program based on the requirement. With the help of variables, a multi-use program or generic program can be created. This generic program can be used for multiple purposes with different input values. In the options of variables, we should create a separate program with the same logic for each different value for different purposes. If we have a requirement to pass 10 different values, then 10 different programs should be created for each input value. Creating multiple programs with the same logic for different input values is not a good idea or not a good practice. In future, if any logic change is required, the logic must be modified in all the programs containing the specific logic. If we have one generic program created for multiple purposes, changing the logic in a single program is sufficient. This change in a single program will apply the new logic in all the different values or different scenarios. Now let's understand how to define a variable in other programming languages, and then we will learn how to define a variable in Python so that you can understand the differences between the variable creation in Python and other programming languages. In the programming languages like C, C++, and Java, a variable is defined using this syntax. First, we need to specify the data type of the value we are planning to store in the memory, followed by a space. After the data type, we need to specify the name of the variable, followed by a space. After the variable name, we need to specify the equal to symbol. In the programming languages, an equal to symbol is called as assignment operator. After the assignment operator, we need to specify the value to be stored in the memory through the variable. This is an example of creating a variable to store an integer value. Int is a data type, a is the variable name, equal to is the assignment operator, 10 is the value to be stored in the memory through the variable a. Similarly, float is a data type, b is the variable name, equal to is the assignment operator, 20.67 is the value to be stored in the memory through the variable b. Similarly, string is a data type, c is the variable name, equal to is the assignment operator, hello world is the value to be stored in the memory through the variable c. Let's understand what is the need of the data type for storing the value in the variable. There are different types of data available in the real world: integers, floating values, text values, date values, date with time values, also called as timestamp values. Let's understand what is a data type. There are multiple types of data available in the real world. To store the different types of data, a computer must be able to understand these values and allocate sufficient amount of memory for storing the values. But the computer cannot understand these different types of data directly. For the purpose of making the computer to understand the different types of values and allocate required amount of memory for storing the value, a special program is developed for each type of data available in the real world. This special program is designed in such a way that the program can understand the data and also has the capability to instruct the computer to allocate specific amount of memory for storing the value. This special program is called as data type. For every type of data, a dedicated data type is created in the programming languages for the purpose of understanding the data and storing the data in the memory. For example, a data type called int is designed to understand only integer values. A data type called float is designed to understand only float values. A data type called string is designed to understand only string values. We should remember that the data type designed for a specific type of data cannot be used to store the data of other types. For example, int data type cannot understand other types of data like float values, text values, date values, and timestamp values. Similarly, float data type cannot understand other types of data like int values, text values, date values, and timestamp values. Similarly, string data type cannot understand other types of data like int values, float values, date values, and timestamp values. By now, I hope you got some understanding about the purpose of variables and the purpose of data types. Now we will understand how to store the values in Python through variables. To define variables in Python, we should not specify data type before the variable name like other programming languages. If we specify the data type before the variable name in Python, we will get an error. First, we should write the variable name followed by a space. After the space, we should write the assignment operator followed by a space. After the space, we should write the value we want to store in the variable. Now we will understand how does Python automatically understand different types of values without having the data type before the variable name. Like other programming languages, every type of data has its own data type in Python as well. In other programming languages like C, C++, and Java, the primitive data types are developed as special keywords. During the compilation of the program, when the compiler encounters these special data type keywords, the data type keyword is converted to some kind of machine instructions to allocate some storage in the memory for the variable value. But in Python, every data type is developed as a class, not as a special data type keyword. In Python, each type of data has its own dedicated class developed for understanding the data and getting the storage allocated in the computer memory. When a variable is created with some value, Python automatically identifies the type of data based on the rules we follow while providing the value. For example, the number values provided without quotes and without decimal values is considered as an integer. The number value provided without quotes and with decimal point values is considered as a float value. The value provided within quotes is considered as a string. Like this, for every type of data, we must follow the rules defined by Python properly. If we don't follow the rules properly, Python cannot understand the given data and throw error. We practically saw this while providing a string within two pairs of single quote or double quote. Based on the syntax of the value provided, Python automatically identifies the type of data and use the respective data type class. In my earlier videos, while discussing about the Python features, I explained that to use the logic developed in a class, an object must be created for the class. Only when the object is created, a storage allocation will happen in the computer memory for using the logics of the class. We need not to manually create objects for the data type classes for storing the value. We should follow a simple syntax to assign a value for the variable. Based on the value provided, Python automatically identifies the respective data type class and create an object in the memory. Once the object is created, the value provided for the variable will be stored in the memory. The entire process is automatically taken care by Python internally. We need not to worry about the object creation for the data type class and storing the value in the object. I will explain you this concept little more detail in the upcoming sessions. While deciding a name for a variable, we need to follow some rules, otherwise we will get errors during the program execution. The first rule is a variable name must start with an alphabet letter or an underscore character. These are some of the examples of variable names starting with an alphabet or underscore. These kind of variable names are valid in Python. The second rule is the name of the variable should not start with a number. These kind of variable names are invalid in Python. If we try to name a variable starting with a number, we will get an error during the program execution. The third rule is a variable name should not contain any special characters except underscore. These are the examples of special characters. If we use a variable name with special characters, we will get an error during the execution of the program. The fourth rule is any Python reserved keywords should not be used as variable name. Let's understand what is a keyword. In every high-level programming languages, programs are written using some English words. Some specific English words play a key role for writing a program. Without these English words, we cannot write a program. These words are called as keywords of the programming language. During the execution of the program, the keywords used in the program are considered with some special meaning and translated to some set of instructions instead of considering the keyword as a regular English word. Every high-level programming language has a set of English words as keywords. In the similar way, Python also has some set of keywords. These are the keywords of Python programming language. If we try to use a Python reserved keyword as a variable name, we will get an error during the execution of the program. The fifth rule is the variable names are case sensitive. Technically, the capital alphabet letters are called as uppercase alphabets and the small alphabet letters are called as lowercase alphabets. Case sensitive means Python considers uppercase alphabets are different from lowercase alphabets. This means capital alphabet letters A to Z are not equal to the small alphabet letters A to Z. Let's understand this concept with an example. Let's assume that we have a requirement to store the age of a person in a variable in the program. We decided to use the variable name as age with all the characters in the uppercase and stored a value 18 in the variable. To use the value 18 in the program logics, we must always specify the variable name as age with all the characters in the uppercase only. These words are the variations of the same word age, but with a different combination of uppercase and lowercase characters. According to us, all these words represent the same meaning in English, but according to Python, each one of these words is different from each other. Using each combination of these words, we can create multiple variables and we can store different values in each of these variables in Python. When we use a variable age in our program to use the value 18, we must ensure that the case of each character in the variable name must exactly match with the case of each character in the original variable name. If we change the case of any character in the variable name to uppercase or lowercase by mistake, then we will get an error if such variable is not defined in the program. If such variable is already defined in the program, then we will get an incorrect value in our logics instead of the expected value. This concept is called as case sensitive. Similarly, we have another term called case insensitive in the programming languages. Some programming languages consider uppercase alphabets and lowercase alphabets are same. This means all the uppercase alphabets A to Z are treated same as lowercase alphabets A to Z. For example, these are the variable names representing the same word but contain different combination of uppercase and lowercase alphabet letters. The case insensitive programming languages considers all these variations are same and not different. Let's assume that we have defined a variable age with all the characters in the uppercase and stored a value 10 in the variable. In case insensitive programming languages, we can use any of these variations of the word age in the program. The program considers all of them are same and return the value of 10 for each variation of the age variable. The best examples of case insensitive programming languages are SQL and HTML. The sixth rule is we need to follow some naming conventions or techniques when the variable name contains multiple words. In some scenarios, we might need to use the combination of multiple words in the variable name for easy identification of the variable purpose. For example, let's assume that we want to have a variable with the name customer current age to store the value 25. If we specify all the words combined together, either in lowercase or uppercase, then it will be difficult for us to read the variable name in a meaningful way. We need to put some additional effort to understand which set of characters in the variable name are forming a word. To avoid this kind of confusion, different naming patterns or naming techniques are recommended to follow while using multiple words in the variable name. There is a pattern called camel case. In this camel case technique, the entire first word of the variable name will be written in the lowercase. From the second word onwards, the first character of every word will start with an uppercase alphabet letter followed by the rest of the word in the lowercase alphabet letters. If we observe the entire variable name, the naming pattern looks like the shape of a camel. Hence, this naming technique is called as camel case. There is another case called Pascal case. In this pattern, the first character of every word will be in the uppercase and the rest of the characters of the word will be in the lowercase. There is one more pattern called snake case. In this pattern, all the alphabets will be written in lowercase and each word should be separated by an underscore. Now we will practically learn how to create variables in Python. As per the first rule, the name of the variables can start with an alphabet or underscore character. First, we need to specify the variable name, then equal to symbol, and then the value to be stored in the variable. The variable is created successfully. If we don't specify any space after the variable name and after the equal to operator also, Python accepts it and does not throw any error. Now also the variable is created successfully without any errors. For the purpose of readability, it is recommended to use spaces. The variable is already created in the memory now. To get the value of the variable, we need to simply use the variable name. The interpreter checks if such variable is present in the memory or not. If yes, then the value is printed on the screen. Else we will get an error saying that the variable does not exist. I did not create this variable, but I am trying to print the value of this variable. Hence, I am getting the error. We can do the calculations using these variables now. I have written multiple calculations using these variables without specifying the actual value. During the execution, the interpreter replaced the variable names with the actual value and performed the calculation and returned the result. This is called value reusability using the variable. In the Python interpreter, when we specify the variable name, the value of the variable is printed automatically on the screen. But when we execute the same code through a program file, the value of the variable will not be printed on the screen. Now we will use the print function to print the value of the variables. The value of the variables are printed through the print function. It is a good practice to use the print function to print any output on the screen even in the Python interpreter so that we can use the same code in a Python program file. If we want to print the output of the calculation on the screen, we should pass the calculation as input to the print function. I will mention all the calculations inside the print function and see the result. In the Python interpreter, we can press the up arrow key to get the previous line of code, and then we can perform more modification on the code instead of typing the code again. The result of each calculation is printed on the screen through the print function. To clear the screen, type clear and press enter. The screen will be cleared. I will write some more variables with different names as per the first rule and try to print the values of the variables using the print function. All the variables are successfully created and we are able to print the value of the variable as well using the print function. You can notice that some variables started with an underscore, some variables started with a lowercase alphabet, and some variable names started with an uppercase alphabet. All these variable names are valid in Python. Hence, Python did not throw any error. Now I will create some variables starting with a number and see what is the output. As a variable name should not start with a number, Python is throwing error. This makes clear that the variable name should not start with a number. Now I will create some variables containing some special character in the variable name. As per the rules, the variable name should not contain any special characters. Hence, Python is throwing error. Now I will create some variables using the keywords of Python. As we should not use keywords as variable names, we are getting error. Now we will understand the concept of case sensitive in the variable names. I will create a variable age with all characters in the uppercase and assign a value 18. I will try to get the value 18 through the variable name age with all the characters in lowercase. We are getting error because we did not create a variable with the name age with all characters in the lowercase. To get the value 18, we must exactly use the variable name age with all the characters matching with the original variable name, including the case of each letter. I will try to print the value of the variable age with all the characters in the uppercase. Now I am getting the result as 18. I will create multiple variables with the same name age but with a different case combination of the letters. Let's understand how Python responds. I am able to create different variables with different values with the same name age but with a different letter case. Now I will print the value of all the above variables and see what is the value we are getting. We can observe that for each variation of the age variable, we are getting different value in the output. This concept is called case sensitive. When we are using the variables in our logic, we should be careful and ensure that the name of the variable should exactly match with the original variable name, including the letter case of each character. Else we will get either an error or we will get a different value. When we have a requirement to use multiple words in the variable name, we should follow a naming technique like camel case, Pascal case, or snake case. We can define a variable with multiple words like this also, either all the characters in the uppercase or lowercase. Python interpreter does not throw any error, but the readability will become difficult. This is the variable name with camel case. This is the variable name with Pascal case. This is the variable name with snake case. Mostly, snake case is used in Python. Some programmers use the camel case and Pascal case as well, depending on the project requirement. These naming techniques are introduced for the purpose of easy readability of the variable name and understanding the purpose of using the variable in the program. Thank you for watching this video. If you are happy with the learning in this video, please like and share this video to your friends and relatives who need this learning. Do not forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get updates on our upcoming videos.